Hello, everyone. Jose J. Garcia with Mobile Home University here. Very special guest, Tasha, friend of mine. We've done business together, and she is, when you think of driven, motivated, you're about to hear it. So, Tasha, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I am doing well today. I'm very thankful to be on here as a guest. I'm more
Yes,
than really excited to give some value here.
absolutely. Now, we met back a while back, and we did a mobile home deal. That's how we came about. Somehow we found each other. I'm pretty sure social media, as big as it is, you can't help but to find about it. But you got a couple units from us at the time. What's that, been a year ago, 2 years ago?
It's about been a year. Yeah, about a year.
Yeah, so definitely been in there. Now you have a different business as well. Tell us about what you're currently doing.
So I have a logistics, a trucking company where I have a truck on the road and I have a driver who works for me each and every day. I try to keep them out about 3 weeks at a time. If they are willing to stay out longer, I try to keep them out on the road for months, as it's more lucrative that way. And I have a more of a passive approach. I think that's really good in business, so you can free up yourself for other things. So I have a company that dispatches us and we are rolling. Thank goodness.
So you got into transportation, and that's another way that we linked in. For those of you who don't know, I spent a long time in corporate America as a logistics manager. So Tasha here, she's taking it from a way different side than I was. I was managing; she was running a business. There's two different things there. So how long you been doing this?
So I'm going on 2 years in January. This will be my second year. A lot of learning has occurred. So hopefully these next 2 and 5 years going up and up.
There you go. And you never stop learning. That's the thing, is I'm sure every day is something new, right?
Every single day, I'm trying to learn more and study so new things don't come at me. But even though I love learning new things, but every day I learn something new about the industry for sure.
Could you say you can sit behind a desk in front of a computer and learn all there is to do and to know about logistics, or does a lot of that come as you're in the field learning it?
There are ways that you can learn about the logistics company, but for myself, I sat down a while. It took almost a year to really research the field. But even once I got in the field, there were things that the courses or any books or any videos did not show me. So a lot of the things I learned based off my experience, and that was my university for this trucking business, I would say.
Yeah, I like to think that the best teacher you will ever get is life. And I tell students that is you can only learn so much from behind the screen, behind the computer, but you need to take action and get out there. And I assure you, no matter how prepared you think you are, you're never going to be fully prepared. When you get out there, you're going to have, oh my gosh, questions. You didn't get those behind a desk or in front of a computer. So learn what you can, get out there, because out there is where the real teacher's at, and it will teach you. And even if you fail, I mean, you always have that key to, okay, what did you learn from it? Because if you picked up something that, okay, let's not do it again, then you came out the winner anyway. So, but very good point, though. Absolutely. But you've also done mobile homes. We spoke about. That's how we initially met. Are you still doing mobile homes?
So as of now, I'm focusing solely on trucking. So I've sold my portfolio as of earlier this year,
Okay.
just to solely focus on trucking. But I do aim to focus on obtaining some more properties and mobile homes as well.
How many did you end up having total at one point, or what was the most you
At
had?
one point, the most I had was about five at one time.
Okay.
That was pretty busy at the time. And once I realized how focused I want to be on the trucking, that's where I had to motivate all my energy and attention
Mhm.
towards the truck and logistics company, just so I can grow it to the level that I really want to. So it's all about focus too, is what I learned, because I was doing both for a whole entire year at one point. And once I reassessed, I realized I just wanted to take a step back until I'm ready to focus on that.
Sure. No, absolutely. Yeah. Any distraction, I mean, good, better, different, it can definitely take away from. So, what are your thoughts on mobile home investing niche?
Oh, I think it's genius. I think it's amazing. When I found out about mobile home investing, I was very appalled. Like, is this real? I was waiting for somebody to tell me, "Gotcha." So it was when I heard about it, and when I learned the ways that you could invest in the low money down, because that was definitely where I was at the time when I started. I did not have that much money to start, so I love the low level of entry to get in and how monumental you can grow. The
Mhm.
ROI on mobile homes is higher than I think any other form of real estate. So when I heard that as well, I was very interested.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's only one more type of real estate that it would have higher ROIs. We'll say that for another video. But I'm glad you mentioned that on low to no money to get in, because this is what this video is about, is comparing businesses. We don't take away from any of them, but we always remind people that look, not every business allows you to get in for, with no money or low money. Some businesses take money that quote, you have to use money to get more money or have money to make money kind of thing. And with mobile homes, you truly can get in with no money, build that pocket, and then later on get into something else. You don't have to love the niche by any means. 9 out of 10 real estate investors that I speak to, they don't love real estate, but they love what it does for them. It gets them to that road, that access to something bigger, better, whatever hobby may be or it is. But you know do you see demand in affordable housing growing at this time?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I think most definitely. Unfortunately, with this pandemic, I think a lot of people's situations is going to change. So people are probably going to look to downsizing within the next few years. And mobile home is great. I've honestly just standing in a mobile home. I've just imagined, living in one just if I needed to. So it's not terrible living. And once people realize that they can still live a comfortable life
Mm.
and a comfortable financial life as well, I think this particular area will boom for sure. Because I still don't think a lot of people know about mobile homes.
No, they still don't. Then there's still the stigma, which keeps a lot of people away from. But there's definitely a lot more people now than it was 6 years ago when I started. There is many wholesalers and flippers and bird dogs, and because people are realizing that at the end of the day, whether good, bad, or different, you know, ROIs is what makes sense, and they're seeing these mobile home numbers. Oh, suddenly we have interest. Never mind the stigma. The numbers check out, and if you understand business, that's where it's at. So we might get some more people after that statement there alone. But let's
Yeah,
talk about
exactly.
your business. So we talk about zero to low money to get into mobile home investing. What is the typical cost of a tractor, a semi? And again, I was in logistics, but I was a manager. So, these are things that I didn't see. I don't know. You see them because you're in the business. If I wanted to buy a tractor right now, what would I be looking at?
So there are a few ways that you can get into the trucking company and the trucking business. So I'll talk about one way, which is, of course, financing a truck. That's a more traditional way. If, say, for instance, you just didn't have $45,000 just laying on your dresser, so you would then finance with the trucking company, and typically, depending on if you have a CDL, which most people don't. If you do have a CDL, you will actually put lower amount down for your down payment,
Oh,
but typically, a down payment for a truck can range between $5,000 and $10,000, and that is just the down payment. And after that, you can finance however you pay monthly. Now, of course, and I'm sure you probably mentioned this as well, but just in case people don't know, as far as like KMT and a different way to get into investing is knowledge money or time. And so in this case, you can work with a capital partner as well to fund that truck if you have the time and the knowledge as far as studying the logistics, understanding what it takes. You could also offer that knowledge up as far as, hey, I will take on the logistics part and we can go 50-50 if you provide the finance. So a capital partner is really good for mobile homes and trucking as well.
okay. So Low, I would say, I guess, to a certain extent, down payment, you mentioned 5 to 10,000. That's not horribly bad, but again, it wouldn't be zero money. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you just sounded like a coach there for a second. If somebody wanted to get educated on logistics, I think that you might be able to take them on your wing and cruise them to success there. So we'll talk about that in the end. Um, is the business profitable for you?
Oh, most definitely. I enjoy the passiveness of the business, and also every Friday receiving a paycheck. That's amazing. It all depends on how you structure your business, but the profit can range definitely between $1,000 and $2,000 per week, as long as you structure your business correctly.
What is the typical miles you put in a truck in a week's time? Is there an
In
average?
a
Or
week's time, yes, there definitely is. I try to make sure, and this is where the structure comes in, to do the mileage compared to how much your expenses are. In this case, our main expense is gas. So doing the math as far as making sure, I want to make ensure that my truck runs about 3,500 miles per week, between 3,000 and 3,500 miles per week, and then dividing that based off of how much gas I will be using over those
this is
miles,
nationwide.
to understand. Yes, correct. Nationwide. I want an over the road driver. That's what
Okay.
OTR. You'll hear that a lot in trucking. So this is everywhere. They go from New York to California, California to Florida, Florida back to Arizona. So yeah, I keep that truck running if I can.
If it's not moving, it's not making money. I do remember that. So, but now there's more, there's also the maintenance, the wear, the tear, and the miscellaneous expenses. I mean, all this accounted. Obviously, you know what you're doing, you know how to run it, but it's all accounted for. So you're definitely not limited. When I was doing it, it was state to state. I was here in Georgia, the last state where before I left corporate America, and the furthest we went, I was 500 miles. So we weren't going very far. You're across the board, so you're definitely seeing a lot more things I did not. Is there a demand for trucking companies? If somebody wanted to get into logistics, is there demand right now? Is need up?
Oh yes, please. I think it's a genius way to get into logistics right now. And there's another part of trucking that I didn't mention as far as the money, the no money down part. To piggyback off that answer, dispatch service is a great service that people can, that doesn't require you to have the overhead of actually having the equipment of the big tractor trailer. Instead, you can offer the dispatch service. So in this case, I work with a company that dispatches my truck for me. And so you could be that person. A lot of people learn the business, learn what it takes to dispatch, and never own a truck and dispatch from their house. And that's no money down right there. So I think it's a big demand for people, especially if you're going to be at working from home. That's something that you can pick up as well.
Very good to know. Anybody listening, definitely, how has COVID affected your business?
COVID, thankfully, no change, no impact. One thing that I, of something small, just to give something as far as transparency in real life examples, we typically, at one point, the tolls were down. We typically tried to pay for our tolls with a card or with cash,
Mhm.
but due to COVID, they cut all of that out. So they just started mailing a lot of tolls in. So I had a stack of tolls to the tolls being down. So something small, but yeah, keeping up with that was very tough, because then you can get your
Wow.
license suspended and all this stuff if you don't keep up with it. So that's one of the only ways I could really say COVID really impacted me.
Wow. Okay. So something, you know, I always get bills from tolls anyway. Anytime there's something about it that I always miss them. And I'm always like, oh, there goes a toll. So I'm used to getting those, but not, not in the level that you receive your trucks, I'm sure. Uh, what would you say to anybody wanted to get into trucking company?
Yes, I would definitely say take time to research the industry, to see how much time do you really want to dedicate to this business, how much money do you really want to dedicate to it, and mainly as far as the time, do you want it to be a more passive approach? So do you want to hire a driver, hire a dispatch company, buy the truck and just sit back, or do you want to be more active and you want to dispatch your own trucks or dispatch other trucks. So it's all about how much time you truly have. And I think people should really think about what kind of time they really want to dispose themselves in what area.
Okay. Absolutely, yeah, and learn. Like I say, you always have to learn, but don't overlearn. Get that paralysis by analysis. That happens all too often, and I say that a lot. And let me throw that out there. What I say, I went through symposiums, and it was this massive, and I mentioned it was legacy, where you went and took so many courses, and they gave you this badge that you carried on your on your neck, and it had like little stickers to the bottom, and it showed what courses you had completed. So in this specific case, it was real estate. That's what I was after. So people in my area were all about real estate, and there was creative finance and wholesale and flipping, rehabbing, etc. So they were lining up their almost like a badge per se. And I remember this one, not talking bad about her, but I remember this one girl, she had them all. And I was like, oh man, in my mind, this girl's got it going on. You have taken that many classes, insights and outside. In my mind, I'm thinking she's killing in the market. So I asked her, how many deals have you done? And I was quite shocked to hear her saying, I thought she was kidding at first. And she says, well, I haven't done one yet, but I'm just trying to learn. And I was like, learn what? You've learned all these classes. Learn a little bit, learn enough, and get out there and take action. People start getting overeducated, and then they start pulling back further versus trying to get in. So, learn what you can and get into it. Don't hesitate, because that's not going to get you anywhere. So, and you said it in the beginning, you learned X amount, but it wasn't until you got out there that you really were hit by these questions that you weren't going to find in these books anyway. So, okay, well.
I know.
Tasha,
And I would
it
say
in.
well too. As far as getting out there, I think it's important once you figure out what you want to do, and if you're ready to change your life situation, if every week you're just like, I want something different. Once you make that decision and stick with it, that's the thing. A lot of people make decisions but don't stick with it. It's going to
Yes,
get tough. It's going to get hard. Even in mobile home investing, trucking, anything, just stick through the tough, uncomfortable times, the learning times, basically when the test is in, and get through that time and just see what life looks like if you just stick through it once you make that decision to jump in.
very well said. Sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. Absolutely. So it's been great connecting with you. Love to have you on here. I'm glad you were able to join us. Now, if anybody wanted to reach out to you to maybe get some of your services, maybe they want to work for you, if I recall, before we get jumped on this call, you're mentioning you're looking for drivers. Is that correct?
I am actively looking for drivers always.
Always a need. So how can they
Yes.
find you? We're gonna share the links on here with his phone number, email, website, whatever you have. But if you want to go ahead and tell them, how can they locate you?
Yes. So the best way to contact me, definitely my cell is 678-488-1772. And my business, that my email is also, I check my emails on my phone, and that's my preferred way as well. If there's any type of documentation or anything we're exchanging, that is TES Logistics 7. So TES Logistics, just the number 7 at gmail.com. That's once again TES Logistics 7 at gmail.com.
There you have it. And like I said, we're going to link them on the bottom. So if you are searching Tasha in it, I can always pass you the information as well, j@garciamhu.com. And yeah, absolutely. So we're going to end this video. Tasha, don't go nowhere, but thank you. Thank you for joining us.